I've got Marta Lopata, the Chief Growth Officer at KG Base. So, hello, Marta.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you.
I've been checking out people's choice of outfit, and I see you're wearing a knowledge
Yes,
graph.
it's our knowledge graph based swag, obviously. Yes, I'm wearing it.
Yes, that's perfect. I actually should have worn mine. I have some data shirts. I don't know why I didn't wear that. It's a good idea. So, I'd love to hear, what you're doing. I know your talk is the rise of no-code knowledge graphs. Seems very exciting, and love to hear more about it.
Sure. Yeah, so at the Knowledge Graph conference coming up in May, I'll be specifically discussing why we created KGBase and why KGBase is primarily a no-code knowledge graph tool. So to the point of all the previous speakers have made, knowledge graphs have countless amount of applications. So my presentation will be really focusing on how can we make access to knowledge graphs available to all, those that can program and those that can. And my thesis in this presentation and with the software solution we've developed is that allowing to create interfaces where you can use, you can use it without any really knowledge, which is interesting. And you can still come and contribute. And also, if you are writing queries, in custom graph languages, you can also participate. And we're trying to create a platform for these two words to collide so that the knowledge graphs can become more and more relevant across many different spectrums. So how we got to it. So originally, I'm also a Chief Growth Officer at ThinkNum. ThinkNum is an alternative web data platform that crawls the web for data sets on over 500,000 companies in real time. And then when we did that, we realized that mapping is such a key problem. And that's where we really started developing all these query systems for analysts that can't write code and for their quant teams to collaborate, right? And we're trying to bring that now to the knowledge graph world, all this feedback and language and product that we've built over the last 5 years with ThinkNum for the finance community and expand it to all industries.
So ThinkNum is targeted for finance, and KG Base is for all industries.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, very cool. And so the no code option, why should people care? People in the knowledge graph community, why should they care about the no code option?
I think if they truly believe in importance and significance of knowledge graph as a format in its own, and I think most of them are definitely on that side, believe that different type of users and audience should be able to interact with the graphs and work on the graphs. So the more we will enable them to work and more we will enable the collaboration between the human and machine to happen on different level, the more we get chances to thrive, and the wider democratization of data we can really bring to the environment. So I think that's just an exciting concept. We built the software for it, so I'm excited to demo it at the Knowledge Graph conference in May.
Great. All right. Well, I hope people go ahead and check that out. It does sound really interesting. And thank you for joining the LinkedIn Live session. I'm going to actually open this up now for questions. So for those who have stuck around, and Marta, feel free to stick around if you'd like. I'm just going to basically be reading through LinkedIn comments and questions. And I'm going to add Thomas back in. Let's see. We got Francois. We've got Mike Grove stuck around. So I'm going to, Marta, definitely feel free to stick around to see if there are any comments and questions on LinkedIn. I've been trying to monitor the comments as I went along, but it was a little bit difficult of managing that whole process. But, those who tuned in live, thank you so much. It was great to see your engagement, and we're finally getting down to questions. I think there was a question from Mike Bennett about what is a knowledge graph? And I know we addressed it early on, but maybe somebody who's on right now can do a quick recap of what is a knowledge graph.
Yeah, and Mike, I need to apologize to Mike because he had a hard time logging into this live, and I'm glad you managed to log in, Mike. that was your first question, I think, to me, Kate, or one of your first questions, and I really try to avoid it because it's the question you do not want to answer in 20 seconds. There are a lot of different definitions. I think there's an idea around what are the capabilities, what is it. It's everyone agrees that the core, the central power of knowledge graphs is the integration, the integration power for all these heterogeneous sources of data that can be put together. So I think that's really the source. From that, there are a lot of varying explanation about if they need to use a certain technique, if a certain modeling language, or a certain sort of way of storing and querying that data needs to be used or not. Is that related to the web? Is it related to an organization? We've heard the names like closed knowledge graph and open knowledge graph. And so all those things are things we are going to discuss at the conference. And I think that's the best way, is not to hurry too fast to get put a hard definition on what a technology means. I think you want to leave it open and have a consensus being created as the technology emerge. And so that's also why we're doing the conference. It is to bring everyone together, all the experts, the practitioners, the researchers, students as well, and developers. So everyone can chime in, and from that a consensus can emerge, and it will be a good thing for the technology.
Great, thank you. And we have a lot of very positive feedback that Yuri says it was a super interesting KGC preview. And we got a comment here from Alan Morrison that says, of course, there are different kinds of knowledge graphs, like you mentioned, right? One answer focuses on the standards-based variety, the kind that can scale and link to other graphs globally. So there's definitely a discussion on what is a knowledge graph in the comments. So Francois, Thomas, do you want to remind people where to go to sign up for the conference, and what else can they expect to see there? Thomas, you're on mute if you're trying to talk.
Okay. Yeah, great. So knowledgegraph.tech. Just to recap, 4 days, May the 4th to the 7th. 2 days workshops, tutorials, personal health knowledge graphs for social good. If you're curious about the space and interest in learning how to build a knowledge graph, we have 2 tutorials on that topic. The conference itself, 2 days of lightning talks, 30 talks, and lots of interaction through the digital platform, through video with our speakers. We'll be supporting speaker channels and Ask Me Anything sessions. The startup event, the Enterprise Knowledge Graph Open Source Foundation, the panel on new frontiers in data intelligence. So sign up in the link in the channel, and a 10% discount for anyone who uses this code. And thanks, Kate. That was a fantastic event, and I think it replicates the energy of our conference very well. It's like very rapid, fast-paced, get to the point. So looking forward to seeing everyone at the beginning of May.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys. And thank you to all the speakers that participated. Thanks for the participants in the LinkedIn Live. And just a quick reminder, the code is KGC LinkedIn Live if you want to get 10% off the session. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right.